is James Nuendorf. My wife Chris and I are LCMS missionaries in Latin America. We live in the Dominican Republic and serve in all of the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean. Crystal and I have been serving in Latin America already for 5 years. Previously, I was not a career missionary. I was serving as a volunteer. She received a career position a couple of years ago. And we've really seen a change in the society in Latin America where the way that people are receiving their information and understanding it has totally changed.
Bueno, como sociedad estamos enfrentando principalmente el problema de que los cambios se han dado muy rápido en la tecnología y la manera como accesamos a la información, y eso obviamente ha hecho que la gente accesa a información mucho más rápido. Ellos deciden qué es importante y qué no es importante, y por supuesto que la manera como ellos reciben la información ya no solamente es oral o yendo a un colegio leyendo o por medio de la escritura, sino que hay muchas otras maneras.
Lamentablemente los cambios se están dando de una manera negativa y exactamente influenciados por los medios de comunicación, por la tecnología. Por ejemplo, en los videos en la internet, las telenovelas, películas, en las películas, ¿quién es el héroe? El que más mata, el que más golpes da.
Historicamente, a Igreja Luterana sempre usou a arte como forma de expressar a fé e levar o Evangelho. Lutero fez isso com música, os artistas Lucas Cranach e o pai, também Bach, famoso que todos conhecem, Johann Sebastian Bach, e depois se perdeu essa cultura de fazer arte na igreja.
We are a result of creation, and so that process is something that we get to learn about as we're going. We get to learn about who God is. We get to learn about who we are as His creation. And He's given us so many tools to be able to utilize, to be able to communicate who He is to a world that doesn't know Him.
So recently we had a conference in Montevideo in Uruguay where we discussed what it looks like to be a church in this new digital age. Things are changing really fast, and no one anywhere really seems to have the answers yet. People in a post-literate age know that information is ubiquitous. It's easy to get information. What's difficult is interpreting and understanding the information. And so we're seeing a shift right now where we're going back to storytelling, essentially. Listening to stories helps us to understand all of the information we're faced with day to day. One of the ways that we have begun working in this area, even before I received this career placement as of a couple of months ago, we produced 2 films. One was a Christmas film to help people to understand the meaning of the Incarnation in Panama and around Latin America. It cost only $100, but it had a huge effect around Latin America. People were able to use it for evangelism in practically every country in Latin America. And recently we shot a longer film, a half hour, in Peru about the sacrifice of Abraham and Isaac. And we were using the same sort of idea of approaching what the crucifixion means by using different symbols. In some ways, what I would describe my job as is producing tools and producing tool makers. We're producing multimedia tools for missionaries to use to communicate to a digital society. And at the same time, we're working with Latin Americans to enable them to produce tools that in many ways will be better because they're produced by their own people from their own culture.
Hi, my name is Crystal Newendorf. I am the Regional Business Manager for Latin America and the Caribbean. The role that I am serving in, and the role that the people who do similar things that I do, is a supportive role. It's supporting our missionaries, it's supporting our regional director in carrying out the mission. And a lot of times people we don't always see all the things that go on behind the scenes in order to make what is actually happening on the scene happen. On a daily basis, I do a lot of administrative work, a lot of reimbursements here for the Dominican office. And then at a regional level, I work with all of the different offices and national churches, making sure they have what they need, working with them and doing kind of what I do here in the Dominican. Sometimes a simple task is a simple task, yet it takes maybe 10 more extra steps than it normally should. A lot of times going out and paying bills here or going and doing simple administrative tasks can end up taking half the day. There's also a lot of work that is more budget and financial planning for the region, working with the regional director, working with our missionaries that are in the field here and in other countries serving for the LCMS. If I can support the missionaries on the field, whether here in the Dominican or in the region, I'm able to take away some of the time that they would be spending at their desk, and they are able to be out with the people, serving the people, sharing God's word with them. And that encourages me, and it encourages, I think, those around people like myself who are doing administrative work, because it's all part of the big picture, it's all part of sharing the gospel.
We have Lutheran seminaries in South America, just as we have seminaries in North America. Unfortunately, there's a lack of accessibility to those seminaries. So one of the projects we've been working on is building a capacity within the seminary, particularly in Buenos Aires, to offer classes via the internet. Countries like Panama or Guatemala do not have access to the theological education in Buenos Aires in any other way. So I've been working to install facilities that they can use to teach their classes in a better way that take away the technology and become a natural way of teaching. In addition to our regional work, Crystal and I are involved in a church plant here in the Dominican Republic. We spend several days a week in a place called Pueblo Nuevo. Pueblo Nuevo is a very urban environment. We are in contact with about 15 total families in Pueblo Nuevo, where we have been making visits, and we've been working with their kids in our Sunday school, in our youth group, and in various activities that we do. We recently started an educational club, and it's been a real privilege for both of us to be able to do some of that hands-on ministry and use actually some of the same materials that we're producing. It took a long time, but our church is beginning to have a name and be known in the community. It's very important for Dominicans to feel that they can trust a place, especially as it comes into their neighborhood. So we did a lot of just community events. We had family movie nights. We did just all sorts of community activities. And finally, people understand, what our church is about. They understand the gospel that we preach. And we began to see some of those results. We have a couple of people in confirmation right now. We had a baptism recently. And it's just really exciting to see what God is doing there. Missionaries in the LCMS are supported in a very unique way. We do not receive direct funding from the synod itself. Our funding comes from supporters, individuals or congregations or organizations who, because they want to see the gospel shared in their stead in another place, generously commit and pledge to give money on a monthly basis or on a a yearly basis or once to move God's kingdom forward. We could not be here if it wasn't for the support of people at home praying for us, learning about what we're doing, sharing what we're doing with others, and giving their own offerings to God for this work here. In order to go and raise this money, we're often required to spend a lot of time in the United States visiting congregations and making relationships, meeting people, and asking for that support. We're making this video right now because there's so many things happening that it's hard for us to take the length of time that it would be required to raise these funds. And we want to make a personal visit to everyone, but we know that every single day that we're in the United States right now is a day that we're not with people here. So we're asking you to continue to support us, those who are supporting us, to continue to learn more and rejoice in what God's doing, and continue to give gifts towards this service. And for those who haven't supported us in the past, we would ask that you would consider prayerfully making a donation to the LCMS in our name so that we can continue to be here and serve as career missionaries with the LCMS in this place.
Hallelujah.